Okay, so this is the second part that we made in lab. We can see that it becomes this plate with a number of cutout holes to it. So let's get to making it. There's lots of different ways to make it. I'm going to show you one approach here. So I'm going to click into here, create a new part. The units are in inches, so we're in inch pound second. That's what we want. And I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch onto the top plane. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 4 circles here. So the first 2 circles are forming this outer wall, and the inner 2 circles will be the inner wall. I'm going to go ahead and select the outer diameter, set that to being 6 inches, and this inner wall has a diameter of 3.5, so I'll set that. Now what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the dimension tool, and I'll select the 2 outer circles, and SOLIDWORKS essentially gives me the radial dimension between those 2 walls, which is 0.25. You can see it here, and we'll do the same thing for the inner circle, which will be 0.25. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Features, Extruded Boss, and SOLIDWORKS doesn't automatically know what it's extruding. There's multiple contours here as I hover over them that it can extrude, so it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to select the outer circle and do an extrusion of 0.25. So this will form the bottom of the plate, this diameter over here of being 0.25. So now what I want to do is I want to access the rest of those dimensions, or that sketch. So if I open up over here in the Feature Manager, the little arrow next to Boss Extrude 1, I can select Sketch 1. Now I can utilize that in a new extrusion. So I'll go to Extrude, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over, I'm not going to select either of these circles. I'm going to select between them to select the annular region, and I'll set that thickness or that depth to being 1. And that forms the outer wall, which is this dimension over here. I'll do the same trick. I'll select the sketch. I'll go to Extruded Boss. And in this case, I'm going to select the inner annulus and make that 0.75, which is this distance over here. Okay, so that sets the basic structure of my part. Now I'm going to make these 2 sets of circles, these cutout holes that have that are on 2 different radiuses, and there's 12 of each. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to make a sketch that contains just 1 instance of both of those circles. So I'm going to create a vertical line here. I'm going to put 2 circles, one at the end point of that line and one on the inside. Going to set the dimensions. The dimension for these outer circles is 0.5. The diameter of these inner circles is 0.25. And the outer circles are on a diameter of 4.5. So that would mean that this is the radius of that. So I'll make that 2.25. And the inner circles, these 0.25 circles, are on a diameter of 2, so that would mean the radial dimension between here and the center would be 1.0. So that makes the sketch for those 2 holes. I'm going to go Features, Extruded Cut, and the option will be Through All. So I'll say OK. Alright, so now what I want to do is I don't want to have to make these another 11 of these, so I'm going to utilize the fact that I can pattern these around the center line that is formed by basically either of these cylinders. All of these cylinders share a common central axis. So under the Features tab, we see there's a linear pattern, underneath the drop down below it is the circular pattern. So the first thing I need to do is I need to define the direction. So any of these cylinders will define a central axis. I then want to go to, sometimes the default is instant spacing. I want to go equal spacing around 360 degrees, which is the full circle. And for this, I want 12 instances that are equally spaced. And then over here into features and faces, I'll select in there. And all I'm basically doing is I'm selecting something of those that contain those features, and SOLIDWORKS will then make me the 12 instances of that. So I'll say OK, and we've selected that. Now to finish this part, I just need to put in this little cross, and I'm going to use that by doing 2 instances of a slot. So I'll do sketch on the central face. From the sketch toolbar, I'm going to choose the center point straight slot. I'll select the center and go horizontally. I didn't actually go horizontally, so let me select this circle and make it horizontal, or select that line rather. Let me do another instance. I want this one to be vertical, so that's vertical. All right, now I'm going to select anywhere of the first or the second slot and anywhere on the first slot, and I'm going to set those to be equal to each other, so equal slots. And now I'll set the dimension to being here. This dimension is 0.625, and the radial dimension here, or the distance between these 2 surfaces, is 0.375, and that controls the dimensions for both of them. One thing to note is that the default display is only 2 dimensions, or 2 decimal places. So if I wanted these to display 0.625, I would, and the 0.375, I can select that dimension, and over here under the Property Manager, in terms of tolerance and precision, you see it says 0.12, which is what the document has. I can set that to be 3 decimal places. So I can do that for both of these dimensions. It's just for a display option, but sometimes you'd want to do that if that is a controlling dimension, as such is the case here. So now I'm going to go to Features, Extruded Boss. Again, there's multiple contours here. What do I want to extrude? So what I'll do is I'll just select the outer edge of this one. Oh, I'm not doing a boss extrude, I'm doing an extruded cut. So an extruded cut, I'll select this edge and this edge, selecting both of those pieces of the slots. I'll go through all, so we'll say OK. And that gives me the view that I want, or that gives what I want. And for this one, even though it says over here that the part is a 1060 alloy, in the problem statement in the lab manual, they say change the part to being 316 stainless steel. So for the material, I'll right click. You'll see that 316 stainless steel isn't one of the favorites, so I need to go to Edit Material. Brings up that, and I can search here. So I'll type 316. So we see which ones are there, and this is the one I want, the AISI Type 316L stainless steel. I'll select Apply to apply that, and I can close the material window, and my part now has the 316 stainless steel. Again, we want to do this in a 4 view, so I'll come here, go to the 4 view, and for this one I want it to be the front view. This view should be my top view. This will be my right view, and you can tell that both the front and the right view are the same, and for this one I will choose it to be isometric. So those are the 4 views that I want. All right, hope this helped. See you in lab next week.